I'm Matt Simons, Al the Guru Johnson with you. Warriors gut punch last night. Steve Kerr compared it to the loss last year. Remember against Utah? In Utah,
Jordan Poole lost to Rock.
Something happened and they scored late.
But that was Jordan Poole doing his stuff, turning it over. This was
Curry. This was Curry doing it. Look, Steph Curry's assist-to-turnover ratio this year is completely unacceptable.
And he's handling the rock less.
To 1. It's 1-to-1.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, and you know what I thought? The one positive? Ask me.
What's the one positive you were thinking?
Fitz was not on the call as the Kings went to the free throw line 42 times. He would have lost it. Like, Fitz, I thought of you.
Did you think the Warriors got a bad whistle?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
Those were fouls.
Right. That's what happens when you get older.
And that's what I hate. That's what's glaring.
Of course.
But it happened last year. Fouls and turnovers.
And now they're a year older.
And now Chris Paul, we don't even know how long both guys are going to be out. But they ain't playing tomorrow, we know GP2's not. Dude, he limped all. He as tough as they come. Steiny, that was no moss.
888-957-9570 is the number. And we're going to get into the game from last night, obviously. We're going to do this for the next hour. And then we're going to jump over to a little football. We got Steve Weish, NFL Network, one of our favorites. And then Ross Tucker's coming up at noon. Wow, Ross Tucker.
He's been active on the X.
He called out Deebo Samuel.
He'll walk that back.
No, he won't.
Yeah,
I don't think he will.
Streets are talking out here.
Maybe we should get that sound and play it when Ross Tucker comes in because Deebo Samuel called
Deebo.
What's his first name? Bradbury's first name? The Eagle. Spadon, Bradbury. Anybody? Anyway, he said Bradbury was trash. And Bradbury's a pro, according to Ross Tucker. And we'll talk about that on the other side. Anyway, tough loss for the Warriors last night. And, the question now is, okay, what do you do? How long do you give it? What can you do? All those kind of things. And, I mean, it doesn't look good right now. It doesn't. I mean, I'm thinking about Klay Thompson. I'm thinking about Klay Thompson. And so much of this is, we can talk about the game last night and what went wrong, but there's some big picture stuff here. And I just want to throw this out there. Klay Thompson, all right, he's struggling. We all know that. But last year, Draymond Green had a player option. He had a player option. And he opted out and became a free agent. Okay, so he could have, in theory, played this year under his last contract. He didn't. He said, I want an extension. I'm going to become a free agent. And the Golden State Warriors gave him 4 years and $100 million. Maybe because they had to. Maybe because they believed in him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Why doesn't matter anymore. But Draymond Green right now is sitting on 4 more years.
All right.
How can Klay Thompson not feel like the odd man out when Steph's got 3 more years plus, Draymond's got 4 more years, and Klay Thompson is playing for a contract? Now, you might say, suck it up, Klay, and play.
Wow.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But if I were Klay Thompson, I would be probably feeling a certain kind of way that I'm part of this big 3, Steph, Klay, Dre, Steph, Klay, Dre, Steph, Klay, Dre. Then why am I the odd man out when it comes to the contract situation?
Because you may be the one that's furthest from your heyday. Okay. And we understand why, injuries or whatnot. But, Steiny, what you said first is where I'm at. Okay, how do you funnel that disgruntlement into production or productivity? How can we get the best out of you? And I know you're not saying that's an excuse. And last night, 36 minutes from Klay, 20 points, 9 rebounds. So, I don't want to say tough cookie, Steiny, but something happened last night to where it benefited him, his stature, and what he's meant to this organization. The fact that Moses Moody went out the game. So, on the flip side, that's where it helped you.
Well, one of the things is, again, I know we're all picking on taking Moody out of the game.
Oh,
I guess
He
what
was
I want
hot.
to. I guess what I want to tell Warrior fans is, it didn't cross Steve Kerr's mind to keep him in, because he wasn't gonna. He was going back to Wiggins. Period. He felt like he needed Wiggins on the floor. Let's go to. We got your buddy Mark Ibanez out on the out on the line,
and we got some donations to read.
Oh, okay.
Right. Mark.
Hey, Mark Ibanez, former KTVU sports director. What's going on, Mark? How you doing?
Good morning, guys.
Hey.
I couldn't resist the temptation to call in today because
and it's not a good morning, Mark. Yeah.
Well, it was the most emotionally invested I have gotten in a regular season game in a long time. I watched every minute of it last night, and Steiny, you were asking, Curry and the Wiggins and everybody played all right, and you asked, what can be done, what's going on with this team, and after all the years I've watched basketball, I have to say that I don't think I've ever seen a 4-time world championship core veteran group team play with less poise and dignity and championship class than this team. They come apart at the seams in the clutch, and 20 turnovers leading to 26 points. They fell apart like a team that had never won anything, that had no reason to hold their head up high. And I'm just shocked at what little poise and control they show in the closing moments of a game. Even last week against San Antonio, they almost blew it in the fourth quarter. I just don't understand how they have such little composure. And I think that's what drives me crazy. I mean, they lost by a point. It's a lot of reasons for that. But look at Draymond. He comes back, technical foul, they lost by a point.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I realize it's more than that, but why doesn't this team have more control of their emotions? They whine about every single call against them. And for Curry to have that ratio you talked about, Steiny, the 1-on-1 with the assists and turnovers, inexcusable. That turnover that the two of them had, Curry and Green, in the final couple of minutes, inexcusable for a veteran team to do that.
Yeah.
How does that happen? And put it back in your lap. That's what I noticed. Lack of composure, control, and way too much whining.
Wow.
Where does that come from?
I think it comes from frustration of knowing that you can't quite be the player you used to be.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, Mark, I'm with you, man. That hurt. That one hurt, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a really, regular season, they come and they go, whatever. Right. But that one did bother me as a lifelong Warrior fan. It got under my skin, and it was the way it happened.
Yeah, man. I don't think. Thanks so much, Mark, for calling in. Always appreciate you listening. And I think a lot of Warrior fans feel the same way that you feel.
And I came in Monday because I hadn't seen you for a week, and I'm sitting up there, and you said, "Goo, they won the game." I'm talking about the San Antonio game. We know Sac is better than San Antonio, but if you watched how close that game got at the end, you could see some warts. Or you could just bury your head in the sand and say, nothing to see here. It was the Spurs, losers of umpteen in a row. And then on national TV, you squandered a 24-point lead. Not only did you do that, you squandered a 5-point lead and with 51 seconds left. And what Mark said is what played out: composure. Steiny, Dre was unhinged again. And I never looked at it like he got a technical and they lost by 1. But Curry said,
you could look in the box score
after the game. Curry said, be who you are. Don't be anything different. If you're going to be emotional, be emotional. Be who you are.
But see, this is the other part about the Draymond thing. And I heard a lot of people say this last night, and I don't necessarily disagree. That was a cheap tech.
Oh, the carry?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You know what? You're right. It was a cheap tech. But that's Draymond now and the officials. It's like, it no longer matters whether he's right or not. But he's now hurting your team because of his relationship with the officials. They're not taking it anymore.
Well, that was a
They've
quick
had
one. Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
So,
that was a quick one.
So he's either going to adjust, or I think they're going to keep going at him.
You had everybody back yesterday. Your leader, your emotional leader. You're up 24. Steiny, I was like, okay, this is going to be a game we remember. And now it's the exact opposite. Yeah,
it's funny. I know that on a night like last night, and maybe this is why people think that I don't know, go after Draymond harder than the other guys.
Right.
But I look and I was like, Klay was okay. Wiggins was fine. Steph was Steph. The guy that I don't know why when you talk about issues on this team and where we go moving forward, I do not like that Draymond Green is sitting on 4 more years with this team. Because this, again, we're 20% into the season. He's been no factor. I mean, he's been no factor. And in fact, he's almost becoming more of a distraction. And I got to tell you, I can't put my finger on it, but I almost don't feel like he signed that contract for all the right reasons. I really don't. I almost feel like,
what would one wrong reason be?
I think right now he's looking at it like, hey, I'm on the downside of my career. I got 3.5 more years. I'm getting paid.
Well, we got to give him. You're going to scoff, but we got to give him credit on one facet of his game that's improved, and that's his 3-point shooting.
I don't care, Goo. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's getting worse.
Well,
Draymond Green's getting worse.
Aspect of that component
that's great.
of his game
he's getting
improved.
worse, but he's hurting the Warriors more than he ever has.
And it makes you wonder why they gave him that contract.